demonstrate, we're followed by the UAF. The chief in command to the UAF, when people see frustrations boiling over like this, let me explain why. I'll explain why. Azid Ali, who's the chief, the second in command of the UAF, is on record as saying that British military are legitimate targets. They are a government-funded organisation, and he attended sermons by Abu Qatada. And with all the planning we have with the police forces, we ask that they are kept away from us. We do not want to see them, and every time they are within distance of throwing bottles into our demonstration, every time. There's a few other things we need to clear up as well, yeah? You see, Nazis. I've heard certain people are in this demonstration today. Eddie Stanton is one of them. Nazis. We do not welcome Nazis. There's a lady here today, a Caribbean lady, who has flown here today from the British Virgin Islands. She's flown here from the British Virgin Islands. We have West Indian youth here today. We have Sikhs here today. And it is our respect of every one of those communities that Nazis are the enemy. You will be treated as the enemy. And the fact that we're 4 years in and you still ain't got the message that you're not welcome on the streets with the English Defence League is disgraceful. We've chased you out of Luton, we've chased you out of Birmingham. When will you get the message that Nazis are never welcome in the English Defence League? Let me start off why are we in Birmingham? Well, a lot of people ask why we're in Birmingham. Like there's no problems in Birmingham or something. You had 6 Muslims from Sparkbrook in this area who were arrested with IEDs, with guns and with machetes, who were planning to kill and murder and maim members of the English Defence League. The reason they gave, not why we say, it's not why we say they were going to do it, they said in their suicide notes that they were doing it due to blasphemy laws written and scriptured within the Quran, that anyone who insults the Prophet Muhammad must be killed. When Lee Rigby was killed, he's a hero. And I said, remember, I was feeling hot, I've been moaning all day about sweating, yeah? We have to remember, it's not 120 degrees, we're not 6,000 miles from our family, and there's zero chance we're going to drive over a bomb today, which is what our armed forces are putting up with every day. God bless every one of them. In response to Lee Rigby's killing, Nick Clegg quoted from the Quran, if you kill one man, you kill all of humanity. Now what it actually says, whoever kills a human being for other than killing him for mischief in the earth, kills the whole of humanity. So what it says is unless you're causing mischief, which is exactly the quote that Lee Rigby's killer said, so unless you're a legitimate target, and what is causing mischief to Allah? Not believing in Allah is causing mischief. So when he quoted that verse from the Quran, he lied. The 5th commandment says, thou shalt not kill. It is the equivalent of Nick Clegg going on TV and saying it says, thou shalt kill. It's not what it says. Now, we hear so much about blasphemy. These men that wanted to blow up the English Defence League were carrying out blasphemy laws. In this city, 30,000 Muslims marched demanding for blasphemy laws that it is illegal to insult the Prophet Muhammad. I'm sorry, but Muhammad is nothing like Jesus and he was nothing like Buddha. Another book where I can hear everyone saying burn it, burn it, burn it. Don't burn it, read it, alright? Expose it. Understand what is in these books. This book here is The Life of Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq. This is a man that we cannot criticise. In this book of battles, he individually, personally killed 43 people. Jesus killed no one, Buddha killed no one. They did not incite or ask for people to be killed in their name. But in this book, he tortured a man for his gold. This is a man that we should criticise. This is a man that we have a legitimate right to criticise, and we should be free in our country to criticise him without fear of death or murder. The other thing that Muslims say, and politicians say, is you've taken that out of context. That's what we hear. You've taken it out of context. Nick Clegg took it out of context. Now, the Quran is inscripted. When you try and read the Quran, you can't make context out of it because it's all mumbled up. It's not in a numerical order of history. Ibn Ishaq is in a numerical order of history. The latter verses abrogate the previous verses. So whatever happened at the end of history, at the end of his revelations, way outprecede the previous ones. In Muhammad's first 10 years of preaching, he had 350 followers. Once he introduced rape, murder and genocide, he found a winning formula. And that's what it's still spread with now today across the world. And one verse, which was his second from last revelation, it says, let's read it. The reason why I'm reading it and picking it out, because the average person in Britain, when you say this is in the Quran, they don't believe you. When you say Muhammad murdered, he had sex with a child, they don't believe you. So we see now the government are introducing education within our schools, Islamic studies. My daughter is 5 years old. She came home from school last week and she asked her mother, does she go to the mosque? This is a gospel truth. Does she attend the mosque? It's a special place where people pray. Now some people say we don't want Islamic education in our schools. I personally do. I want Islamic education in our schools. I want the truth told in our schools. Over the sacred months, slay the non-Muslims wherever you find them. Take them captive and besiege them and prepare for them an ambush. That was his second from last revelation. country and we see Islamic ghettos. We see non-integration across the entire country. And you have to ask yourself why. Why are they not integrating? Why are they not assimilating? In the same way the Sikh community have, the same way the Hindu community have, the same way the Jewish community have. And it's only then, when you read this, you know, I spent some time on solitary confinement, yeah? I read every page of this when I was on solitary confinement, right? I made sure I read it. And when I was reading it, I was gobsmacked at the amount of times it quite clearly says, do not take Jews or Christians as your friends. The amount of times it says it. It's scriptured within it. It says that you'll go to the hellfire, you are a hypocrite. It's all written within it. And what we see, last week I went to Keighley. I met with 2 Islamic leaders and I met with an ex-Labour politician called Anne Cryer. And we had a discussion which was recorded about Muslim grooming gangs, paedophile gangs within Islam. We've all seen in the last few years, and again, Anne Cryer said she has been very outspoken against grooming gangs since 2002. In 2002 she had 8 mothers go to her and beg her as their local politician, because they've already gone to the police, they've already gone to social services, and they have refused to help these families whose daughters are being groomed, raped and sexually abused by large groups of Muslim men. Now, when Anne Cryer started saying this, and it's all being recorded, she said that she approached the local imam and she asked him to go to these 30 Muslim men's houses, who she had their names and addresses, and ask them to politely stop what they're doing, because it is un-Islamic. Now, un-Islamic, I said, Anne, how, and what basis do you say it's un-Islamic? And I had the Quran then. I said, Anne, have you read this book? No, she hadn't read the book. So I said, you're defending something you know nothing about, and you're going out on a limb. Which is what you're seeing so much. Our politicians come out telling us Islam is a religion of peace. On what basis do you say that? And when she said that, I quoted to her Surah 4 verse 3. It clearly states, outside of your 4 wives of marriage, you can take whatever your right arm possesses as sexual captives. Are we not agreed that these Muslim grooming gangs are taking non-Muslim women as sexual slaves? Do you know how many times it says in this book that they are allowed legally to take non-Muslim women as sexual slaves? 14 times! 14 times! And the only answer Mohammed Shafiq had, it doesn't say sexual slaves, it says slaves. I said, what do you think they do with their slaves? Play bingo with them? And none of them, not one Muslim leader in this country has got an answer. Alright, maybe that is being misinterpreted by me. Maybe all these Muslims that are raping these kids is being misinterpreted. But you tell us why. You tell us why predominant all Muslim groups of men are grooming and raping our kids. You tell us why. And Mohammed Shafiq said it's cultural. It's a Pakistani problem. Well, no, actually, what's happening here is happening in Sweden, and it's Iraqi men, and it's happening in France, and it's Algerian men, and it's happening in Denmark, and it's Somali men. The common denominator is they're all Muslim. on behalf of myself, on behalf of everyone, I want to thank every one of you. Yeah, I want to thank every one of you. I know how difficult it is to openly say you're English Defence League. Yeah, I know what every one of you have probably had hassles off people you know. You've probably been demonised. You've probably been slandered. I know many of you would have lost your jobs. I know all the things that every member of this organisation goes through in order to defend the children of the next generation. So, I know it's not easy. I know how difficult it is, and I know how brave that makes every single person that's come here today. To not care. That's what you're getting. We don't care what you say about us. History will prove we were right. History will prove we were right. And every single one of you, at a minute you're being judged. We're all being judged. It doesn't matter, because history will judge us. We will all be judged. And the only way to get what we want, I've seen Sikh lads here today, I've seen all these different people here today. We don't need 100,000 people on the street. Yeah? All we need is for the politicians to realise that this movement has got the support of the British public. We've got the support of the British public. We've got the support of the armed forces. Why wouldn't the armed forces support us? They are trained and bought and trained into defending this country against Islamist ideology in faraway fields where they're suffering and they're dying. And then when they come home to their homelands, they see the same ideology spreading like a wildfire, not being tackled by no one. There's only one group in this country that's daring to tackle it and say it how it is and speak the truth. White men can't dance. From here, lads, on September 7th we'll be going into Tower Hamlets. There's also a few documentaries that are going to be coming out. There's one with Vice Media, who have been spending time with the Sharia patrols. Hopefully this documentary will show them implementing Sharia. We had a meeting last week as well for another documentary, and we had a Muslim, a public face of Islam in this country, who come to the meeting. He come and attended the meeting in Luton. And I said, before he come in, I said, let's give him some respect. He's the first Muslim that's actually stepping over that barrier to listen to what we've got to say, yeah? All you have to. And you know, when he spent quite a lot of time with me, as yeah? And in the meeting, he started off by saying, a year ago, I was in this camp, and I wanted this organisation banned and prescribed. And after meeting your supporters and your members, I've now moved to this camp. And I understand that it's time that we sit down and we listen to all your concerns, and we listen and we understand. And that is a leading Muslim representative in this country. So how, and I explained to Mohammed Ansar, I explained to him and said, these people that you're meeting in this room today, David Cameron described every one of them as the sickest people in this country. Men, women, Sikhs, Hindus, Jews, black people, ex-forces, all these different people come together and they've got a blanket ban as the sickest people in this country. And in Birmingham, we come here, they set up, they put cameras in Sparkbrook, in all these different Islamic areas. Counter-terrorism put these cameras up because they felt a need to monitor these communities. Due to political correctness and the fact that the Muslims were offended that cameras were put in their communities, them down. When 6 Muslims were planning to blow us up, they were stopped by chance. They were stopped because they had no insurance in their car. Now, we demand that we don't care about their feelings. I don't care if someone's offended. For too long we've been tiptoeing around these issues and worried about treading on people's feet. Right now, we need to be stamping on their feet and telling them what time it is. If you need to put counter-terrorism cameras in Adam Rock so that we feel safe, because quite frankly we don't feel safe. What happened to Lee Rigby will happen again, and too many people have told us that we're trying to exploit the situation. How can we exploit a situation which we warned you about? We made a video in 2010 highlighting Lee Rigby's killer. It will happen again. All we can ask, and all I can ask, is that people continue to follow this movement. September 7th, out in Tower Hamlets. It's people power, and just saying, I'm just going to finish my speech now. I've seen an old gentleman standing here with his beret on. I know we've got another one giving a speech, so can everyone give a round of applause for any ex-servicemen that are in here